All right, Thursday night at Cardinia Park, Geelong flicked the turbo switch in the final quarter against Melbourne. What did this match tell us?
They did. It was an arm wrestle for these two clubs for most part of the night, and Melbourne Footy Club went in front in the third three-quarter time siren, and then after this, Geelong's just their run and their will to get on the end of the football, and they won it in the back end, Kane. That was where they won it, not in the forward half of the ground where they kicked these goals, but more in the back end, the way they set up, the way they counter-attacked off that.
I'd love to be a Geelong supporter. They just refuse to die. I mean, some of their efforts on this night, particularly in the last quarter, you'd be inspired. They didn't have some of their big names out there, particularly through the midfield either, but 20-7 tackles in the last quarter. Atkins was back to his best. De Koning there, that goal-saving tackle there, he had a couple. So they just swarmed them and they overwhelmed Melbourne. They kicked 6, as you said, Brad, in the last quarter. Look at that. Look at them just converge on Hunter there and turn the footy over and then go back and score. So I just thought, sometimes we talk tactics, TJ. Sometimes in conditions like this, it was effort and will.
So let me ask you this, Kane. When we talk about Geelong and where they might end up at season's end, if they can continue to build momentum, where do you see them?
I've just refused to give up on them because I've done that and been made to look foolish for probably the last 6 years. So I refuse to write them off. I think they're probably going to have left their run too late, and it's going to be almost impossible to win it outside the top 4. So,
but if anyone could do it, they're probably the team that can do it.
They've got 5 games still left in Geelong, and they've got some players to come back. So, yeah, they're going to cause a fair few disruptions to the top 8. You would think they'll make the top 8. I'm just not sure how high up they'll get.
It was a mentally courageous performance from Gary Rohan, who early in the game knocked out his teammate in Jeremy Cameron in this innocuous incident. You can see the damage done before even Cameron hit the ground, and Cameron will now miss, obviously, with the concussion protocols applied to that. But you can see the stress apparent in Rohan there, and the encouragement of his teammates around him, including Tom Stewart, who obviously has those words with him. And for him to emerge from the game with 3 goals too, if he wasn't the best player on the ground, it's keen to see the votes later on, but he was probably the most important player in the ground, a really franking of his time at Geelong, given he won a qualifying final for them last year.
Who did the votes for that game?
I did them.
Can you tell us what you did?
Yeah, I gave him best on ground.
OK, there you go. What else took your eye? Well, can I ask you about the ruck setup of Melbourne? Because this was something that we spoke about prior to the season starting, and we were fascinated as to how it was going to work. How did it work?
Yeah, I really liked Lordo's thought maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago about what to do with Max Gawn and their inefficiency with their forward line and whether he would just be better playing as a key forward. So it's just not working because Max isn't the player that we know he has been. So
is he injured?
I got no idea. If you're out there, I think we give star players too many excuses with their body. Often when they're out of form, we always go, oh, he must be injured. But maybe it is his season has been disrupted from Grundy coming in. Now, Grundy spent a large portion of the time on the bench getting a head assessment, but I just don't see it working as effectively as what they would have thought. And I was all for it. I thought, well done, it's innovative, and you're going to get him for not much. But at the moment, you'd have to think it's not quite working as they would have hoped.
Everyone wants to be the number one ruckman, and I know you've touched on how 2 don't work. Jackson actually last night played permanently forward for the first time. They even threw Tracy as the second ruckman, so it's a decision they do need to make around, OK, who is our best? The 50-50 doesn't work. Who is our best? And the second one just has to play a different role, and for me that is, maybe it is that Gawn later in his career.
So you said abandon the plan that they basically embraced to win them a flag in 2023. Yeah. Abandon it at round 15.
Because I just don't think being a 50% ruckman or a 60% ruckman works.
So will you play Gawn or Grundy forward?
I'm playing Gawn forward. If they're not going to bring Bren Brown back, I don't think Smith's not working. Van Ryan's their future, so they'll keep playing him, but it's Gawn down there with him.